Hi, everyone, and welcome. You can see by my background what time of year this is if you're listening later. And I thought this would be a really great time to talk about gratitude. And so I have a special meditation for you today, and it's based on an acronym that I found. Some of you who've been around for a while may recall that we've worked with the acronym RAIN before um, to help us remember the steps of mindfulness. And this acronym is very similar, but a little bit different, as you'll see. And it was developed by a doctor at Stanford. His name is Dr. Greg Hammer. He has a couple of books of his own, and he's a pediatric anesthesiologist who has studied mindfulness. And, excuse me, he uses this acronym and he teaches it actually to fellow anesthesiologists and anesthesiologist students that he works with in the classroom as well in the clinic. He even teaches this to some of the parents of some of his children that he sees. He has a book. I don't recall the name right now, but I will send it to Amy so she can get that to you. But his name is Dr. Greg Hammer. Hammer, Hammer. So while you're getting comfortable and finding your space and feeling your body and putting aside your busyness, I just want to give you a little rundown about the acronym itself and what the letters stand for, and then we can commence our reflection and meditation on that. So the acronym is GAIN, GAIN. And in this acronym, the first letter G is for gratitude. So in RAIN, we start with to recognize, and in GAIN, we work with the G first, and we come to a place of gratitude. So I love this because this is something that I think we can all practice in our lives during these busy holiday days and nights and snacks and busyness and traffic and all the things that go along with that. So we would start with gratitude. And then the A is similar to the acronym of RAIN, where we talk about acceptance. And Dr. Hammer gives, some examples of acceptance in his book. Um, And we've talked here before about what a difficult word that is in the English language because it can mean some different nuanced things. It can mean I accept, meaning I approve or I like. And we're not talking about it in that context. When we're saying accept here, we're using it as in I accept that this is here. So, for instance, if we're upset about something, something is not going the way that we feel like it should, or the world isn't going how we think it should, and we come to the word acceptance, and we might think, well, I don't accept that. I don't accept this war in Ukraine. I don't accept what's going on in Israel and Gaza. And it's not that kind of acceptance. Here, we're talking about coming to a place of acceptance that this is what's happening. I accept that this is what it is, whether I like it or not. And that gets for me anyway, I get tangled up in that. And so I think when we worked with this before in the RAIN acronym, we've actually substituted acceptance for acknowledgement. And I think for some of us that worked better. I acknowledge that this is what's happening or this is what's real. I acknowledge. The reason this is important, this word acceptance, though, I just want to say is because we can spend human beings can spend an enormous amount of time and energy and a headspace and a heart space suffering over things that we can't change. So this kind of is like the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. And by accepting the things that I cannot change, it doesn't mean that I love them, but I accept that I can't change them. So I think, it's good to say acknowledge because that helps us remember that it's not acceptance as in approval or submission or liking, but it's accepting that what's here is here. Um, and so we've got gratitude, we've got acceptance, and then the I in gain is intention, which I thought was interesting. The other acronym that we've used before, RAIN, the I is investigate, which is another sort of heady word, but intention I thought was really nice because it reminds us, what is my intention here? What is my intention in any given situation? If I've um, if I've touched on gratitude and acceptance and then intention, what is my intention for myself in this moment? What's my highest intention? Is my intention, even though there's chaos at my house, all these people are here for the holidays, and it's crazy, and I'm feeling overwhelmed with the chaos. Perhaps my way of working with this would be gratitude, looking around and seeing these people that I love, even though maybe they're driving me crazy in the moment. I accept that there are people here that I wish were here who've passed now. I accept that this is 2024 and it's different this year. There's some people here and some people who aren't here, and I accept and take in the state of my family and the state of um, relatives that have passed, or people that I'm missing or whatever, and then my intent. So I remember my intention is to be fully present to this day, this moment with these people, and it gives me a sense of perspective. What's really important here? Is my intention just to survive the day? Maybe some days it is. So, or is it sort of a perspective moment? What is my intention? Is my intention to um, reap the reward and the value of these moments that are fleeting and precious? And then the N is non-judging. Non-judging is another one like acceptance, right? Where it's a little edgy for us, a little edgy. Non-judging. So we don't mean uh, judging in the way of discerning, right? So again, language is such a thing. Judging in this case might be, well, here you go. The way that I heard Dr. Hammer explain it is say you have two friends. You have um, Mark and Nancy. And Mark is kind of a jovial guy that I met um, in school, and we've hung out a few times. He's a great guy. He's compassionate and kind, and just has this way of making me laugh. But he's deep. It's very enjoyable to be around him. Nancy, on the other hand, is a dear friend whom I've known my entire life, since middle school, basically. And she's, I love her, and we've shared a lot of history. So, and I notice though that when I'm around her, I to have a tendency to get caught up in her sort of negative view of the world and a little bit of woe is me. Uh, she's just very, I would just say she's cynical. Um, and so if I'm discerning, I have one morning to spend with a friend that I can go have coffee with. And I could choose for my just my own choice. I could choose either Mark or I could choose Nancy. And depending on the circumstances, I might choose Mark because I know that when I leave the coffee with Mark, I will most likely feel uplifted a bit and I'll be feel happy and touched. Whereas when I have coffee with Nancy, sometimes I feel kind of down and I've sort of gone down some rabbit hole of, how bad the world is and whatnot, which, I can certainly go there. But I tend to not feel as good when I leave her company. So there's some discernment there, which is better for me that day. But it's not judging. It's not um, Mark's a good guy and Nancy is not a good person. It's not Mark is smart and Nancy's not. I mean, there's no judgmental thing there. I mean, they're still both beautiful human beings and wonderful friends. But I would be discerning. So there is a sense of judging there, what's good for me versus not so good for me. But there's no value judgment on them as human beings. Okay, so let's go back over that acronym. So we've got gratitude. As soon as you remember you're in a moment of stress or a moment of happiness, as soon as you think about it, just like boom, gratitude. And I bet you can get there in like that quickly. Gratitude. Gratitude and acceptance. This is what it is. This is where we are. And then the I intention. What is my intention here? And then non-judging, because we all do it. We have these brains that are, as we've talked before in these Friday morning sessions, our brains are very wired toward the negative. We have a negativity bias. It just is the way it is. We have millions or thousands and thousands of years of wiring in our brains, in our survival brains, that has required us to pay more attention and give more credence to the negative because that's been a mechanism for survival. And we've talked about that more in depth, and we can do that again at some point. But what's important here is just to remember that our judging isn't bad. When I say this is good, this is bad, blah, 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 all of those, I like this, I like that. It's not bad. We don't need to judge ourselves for judging or being judgmental. It's actually just very, very natural. And like I say, we have eons of wiring um, in our brain that teach us to do that because it's been important. And so we're not going to just undo the wiring just because we sit down to meditate sometimes or come to mindfulness sessions. It's not that we're just going to be able to completely rewire that or undo that. But it's more just being aware that, okay, I do that. And so reminding, and that's why it's in the acronym, non-judging. What am I judging here? Um, and then seeing if I can come back to a place of non-judging. And often that comes really just with awareness that, oh, I'm feeling, I'm doing the judgy thing again. And so just the non-judging. And when we meditate, one of the definitions of mindfulness is that being aware in a particular way in the moment, moment by moment, with non-judgment. So not judging and with compassion. That's Jon Kabat-Zinn's definition of mindfulness. And so the whole thing that we're doing when we're learning mindfulness, any of these practices, is paying attention to where we're judging and then letting go of judging. Not judging the judging, just letting go of it. Okay, the best you can. All right. So, if you haven't already taken your seat and found a comfortable place, go ahead and do that. And take your seat with an attitude of intention, an attitude with gratitude, um, accepting where you are today, all of you, accepting yourself. And what is your intention in sitting in this meditation together today? And if there's any judging going on about yourself or others or anything else, just see if you can let that go. So even the way that we take our seat today can be in the GAIN meditation, or the GAIN acronym can be useful. All right. So feeling yourself in your seat, solid, feet on the floor or wherever they are. And just feeling the sense of your body beneath you, um, or the chair beneath your body, I should say, and how your body feels when it's being held by gravity, allowing that sense of weight and density of the body. And as you take some full breaths, just imagining with your breathing in and breathing out that you can expand your awareness along with the breath. Just let it flow out the extremities to the tips of the fingers and toes, flowing down the legs and arms, filling the torso with breath and awareness. Up the spine and the neck and throat. And with the breath and awareness, noticing any sensations or experiences in the head, the scalp, the face. And again, a few more full breaths with a long, slow exhale. Sending awareness out through the vessels, through the nerves, through the bones, the muscles, to all parts of the body. What's going on in the body and what is there to notice? Is there anything surprising or unexpected? Notice differences between upper body and lower body, or the right side of the body versus the left side of the body. Feel the rhythm of the breathing. Each breath, precious, being brought in by the lungs and the chest, and then exhaled gently. The rocking movement of the body with each inhale and exhale. Mm-hmm. aware of the busyness of the mind. Time of year, there may be lots of lists going on. And just remember your intention to set down the busyness and just be here. It's allowing the mind some room to just soften, relax. And so I'll invite you to just think about your holiday here, whether it's past or coming up. Some kind of scenario around the holiday if you choose, or it can actually be anything. Um, but because we're here, we might as well use it. And so you can project into the future. You can think of something that's coming up today or tomorrow or next week, or you can think of maybe the scenario from yesterday or even last year. And it can be a pleasant time or an unpleasant time. A lot of events around the holidays are really mixed, right? It's wonderful to see everyone, but there's a lot of stress, people missing. So there can be a lot of joy, but it can be very bittersweet as well. So whatever you like to work with. Um, and as you recall or anticipate this event, this scenario, you can just imagine yourself sitting in the midst of it, being in the midst, and whatever is going on around you, the sound, the smells, the aromas, the feeling of just being there. And imagine what you can gain by being more present in whatever situation this is. Being present with a sense of gratitude. So, in your scenario, just noticing around you, these could be the bigger things, these could be the smaller things. You might feel gratitude for a candle burning on the mantle. You might feel gratitude for your warm socks. Or you might feel a bigger gratitude for the entire scenario. It just depends. But open yourself if you can. Invite that opening in yourself. Gratitude. What does it feel like in your body, your mind? What are your thoughts when you're feeling gratitude? Opening yourself to gratitude. How does it feel? Where does it come from? Yeah. And then we'll move on to the A in the acronym. So gratitude was the G. A is acceptance or acknowledgement. Acceptance, as in the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Accept what is. That we're not taking up all that energy and room to, in the wish that some things were different than they are. So acceptance. And then moving on to intention. What's your intention in this moment? Is your intention serving you? And if your intention feels too small, then find your breath and take a step back and see if there's some perspective you can get just by turning your awareness toward your intention. Maybe you're not even sure your intention. And then the last letter in the GAIN acronym is N. And Dr. Hammer would like that to stand for non judging. So free of judgment of yourself for, oh my gosh, what might it be? What might we be judging ourselves for? For not feeling present fully. We might feel judgy toward ourselves for feeling judgmental toward other people. It's a common one. There might be some judgment about eating too much. There might be some judgment about feeling like you should be happier than you are. And again, that comes to that accepting things as they are in this moment. And just knowing again that our mind's tendency to want to judge everything is very natural. And so this is an awareness exercise. Again, this isn't the button that's going to turn off judging forever. This is awareness. And this is part of living in the moment, which is definition of mindfulness. And so notice how you might be um, judging others, maybe judging somebody's parenting or somebody's kid or somebody who came late or didn't come. Who knows? So, really, what matters far less, if at all, is the subject matter of your judgment, but more allowing yourself some freedom, just moments of freedom from the judging mind, not the discerning mind, but the judging mind. And so I'm going to give you some quiet now so that you can go back through this either with the same scenario or with another one and see how it feels to practice GAIN, gratitude, acceptance, intention, non judging. Wherever you have traveled to in your mind, your awareness, as you've practiced this gain meditation. Start transitioning back to ordinary consciousness, awareness that you're still sitting there, however you chose, whatever chair or seat you chose to sit on. And begin to become aware again of your body, wiggling your fingers and toes, maybe circling your wrists and ankles. And feel free to reach overhead and give yourself a nice stretch. Massage your neck if you like, rub your face. And as you begin to open your eyes, super important to make sure that you make contact with your environment. So look around you, notice shape and color, shadow and light. And as you return back, you're welcome to turn on your cameras again if they've been off. And I'll leave you now so that you can share any insights, questions, thoughts, experiences that you'd like to. And thank you for being here and sharing this gain meditation with me. I think it's always kind of fun and interesting to play with new acronyms and new ways that people have thought of to enter this mindfulness sort of awareness, state of awareness. So hope that was helpful for you, and hope there's something there that you can maybe use through the holidays for yourself. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye, everyone.